Hello guys, zip through film history with flashback flicks, subscribe for the ride. Today, we dive into the thrilling tale of Ozzy, a 2016 animated adventure that follows the journey of a lovable and mischievous dog. Our story begins with Ozzy, a beloved family pet, who enjoys a comfortable life with the Martins. Paula, the youngest member, shares an inseparable bond with Ozzy, and together they explore the joys of life. Paula's parents, Tad and Susan, are cartoonists, and they welcome Ozzy's playful antics with open arms. Every morning, Ozzy, and in this close-knit neighborhood, cats and dogs are friends and often gather to discuss the peculiar habits of their human companions. But when the paper boy arrives, chaos ensues. The paper boy, always accompanied by Thor, a fearsome pit bull, terrifies the local pets. As the animals scatter, Ozzy dashes home, but not before getting smacked by a newspaper. One day, while playing, Paula and Ozzy accidentally break a neighbor's dish antenna. This mishap leads to a series of domino effects, culminating in Tad having to cover the cost of damages. Annoyed by the ongoing chaos, Tad and Susan decide to restrict Paula's outdoor activities, leaving her feeling confined and bored. Unable to bear the separation from Ozzy, Paula sneaks out to play with him, leading to a minor accident and a bee sting. Their misadventure results in a scolding from Susan and a drawing idea for Tad. Tad transforms Paula and Ozzy's escapade into a comic. Suddenly, the peaceful morning is disrupted by an excited exclamation from Mark. He has news: the Martins have been invited to attend the prestigious International Comic Salon in Osaka, Japan, explaining that the organizers were very impressed by Ozzy's popular comic book series, Star Dog, and want the family to come promote it at the convention. However, the mood quickly shifts when Susan and Mark exchange a concerned glance. It is then revealed that dogs must undergo a mandatory 2-week quarantine period when entering Japan, meaning Ozzy cannot accompany his family on the trip. They decide to find alternative care. The Martins decide to leave Ozzy with a trusted friend or relative, but with no one available. Desperation leads them to an advertisement for Blue Creek, a luxury dog hotel boasting high-end amenities. Impressed by the ad, Tad and Susan visit the hotel, where Mr. Robbins, the owner, gives them a grand tour. The facilities are impressive: organic food, steam baths, massage. Tad and Susan, convinced of the hotel's commitment to canine well-being, leave Ozzy there with a heavy heart but hopeful that he will be well cared for. Little do they know, Blue Creek is a facade. As soon as they leave, the true nature of the hotel is revealed. Mr. Robbins and his crew transport Ozzy and other dogs to what appears to be a grim, prison-like facility. Ozzy is introduced to this bleak new world by Decker, the chief guard dog. Decker takes him to the warden Grunt, who took his collar and makes it clear that Ozzy is now just another number, 463. Ozzy's initial shock at the harsh conditions is only deepened when he is processed and thrown into a cell. The prison inmates, a mix of despondent and unruly dogs, quickly make Ozzy's life miserable. His cellmate, Frankie, who has been waiting 6 months for a new companion, shares the grim reality of the prison with him. He reveals that once a dog is brought here, they are never reunited with their owners. Frankie's own experiences with the harsh conditions and broken dreams of escape weigh heavily on him. Although Ozzy hopes his family will retrieve him within 30 days. Night falls, and the prison's harsh regimen continues. Ozzy's first night is disturbed by Frankie's loud snoring, which adds to the harshness of his new reality. Each morning starts with a blaring alarm, followed by a grueling day of labor in the factory, where Ozzy is tasked with making toys. His clumsiness with the machines results in a severe punishment, being placed in a washing machine, which spins him around in a torturous manner. Lunchtimes are particularly disheartening, as the prisoners are fed only cat food. Ozzy struggles to find a place to sit and is eventually welcomed by Frankie and Chester. Chester advises Ozzy to be wary of humans, who often betray their pets. Ozzy remains hopeful that his family will rescue him. That afternoon, the prison witnesses the departure of Vito, a notorious Chihuahua, held in solitary confinement. Despite Vito's menacing reputation, Ozzy remains determined. Over time, Ozzy befriends Chester, a dog with a tragic backstory of losing his legs, and Doc, a large dog who ended up in the prison by misfortune. The next morning, Ozzy discovers Frankie's failed escape attempts. Frankie reveals that he has tried to flee numerous times but always ends up in Warden Grunt's office. Despite this, Frankie remains hopeful and continues to plan future escapes. Meanwhile, Radar, another inmate, informs Ozzy of Vito's invitation to join his racing team. Ozzy participates in a race against the reigning champion, Flash. Despite Flash's initial lead, Ozzy wins, and Flash defeated, Vito offers Ozzy a place on his team to race against guards. Ozzy contemplates the offer, realizing that joining the team could improve conditions for him. After talking with his friends and seeing Flash's condition, Ozzy decides against joining Vito's team. But Vito doesn't like the idea and orders his goons to make life difficult for Ozzy in the prison. Vito begins to pursue him, but Ozzy runs to Warden Grunt. Ozzy tells Warden Grunt everything about Vito wanting him to join his team. After hearing this, Grunt proposes a plan and asks Ozzy to join him, with the condition that he must lose the race against the guards. In return, Grunt promises to make life better for Ozzy's friends in the prison. But he declines don't want to participate in the race. The next day, he is subjected to harsher treatment from Vito and Grunt. Ozzy is pressured by both Vito and Warden Grunt, leading to intense punishment for him and his friends. Witnessing his friends suffering, Ozzy reassures his friends that everything will be fine once his family comes to get him. However, a guard reminds him that it's been 32 days, and his family still hasn't come. Meanwhile, the Martins, dampened when they arrive at Blue Creek and are told by Mr. Robbins that Ozzy has died from a supposed illness. Devastated, Paula and her family struggle with grief and anger as they confront the fraudulent Mr. Robbins. But Robbins shows them a contract that states they have no right to complain if anything happens to their pets. Back in the prison, Ozzy agrees with Vito and Grunt so he can buy some time to escape from the prison. The plan revolves around escaping via a truck that arrives daily at the factory. To execute this, they need to access an underground plant. Frankie convinces Chester to help them retrieve a map from Grunt's office. Despite Chester's initial reluctance, he is persuaded under duress. The group manages to obtain the map but has to evade Grunt's return, narrowly escaping through a window. As the plan progresses, Ozzy and his friends work to dig a tunnel leading to the packaging sector. Meanwhile, Grunt teased Vito, saying, "You will lose again." Vito proposes a high-stakes race. If Ozzy wins, the dogs will receive quality food and better working conditions. If he loses, they will endure double shifts and continue eating cat food. On the night of the race, Chester tries to dissuade Ozzy from escaping, fearing the repercussions for all the dogs. Undeterred, Ozzy ties Chester up to prevent him from alerting the guards. The race begins, and Ozzy fights hard against Morris, the undefeated champion. Just as Ozzy is about to win, the lights go out, and he vanishes. When the lights return, Ozzy has escaped, and Vito orders a search. The arena doors are locked, trapping everyone inside. The escapee's secret passage is discovered, leading the search to the factory. The truck is about to leave, but the alarm sounds, and the quartet is captured and returned to prison, facing solitary confinement. Ozzy learns that Chester was coerced into revealing the escape plan under threat. Determined to protect his friends, Ozzy uses Warden Grunt's affection for his sculptures as leverage. By threatening to destroy the sculptures, Ozzy distracts Grunt, allowing him to escape. He locks Grunt and Decker in the office and makes an announcement to all the dogs, revealing the truth about the rigged race and inspiring them to fight for their freedom. Ozzy's announcement ignites a rebellion. The dogs confront the guards and Mr. Robbins, who, along with his employee Dominic, are caught off guard. A fire breaks out, worsening the chaos. In the midst of the battle, Vito takes on Grunt, and the dogs manage to break free from solitary confinement. Ozzy and his friends make a daring escape and hitch a ride on a truck. Arriving in Cloverleaf, the group separates. Doc is reunited with his guardian, Mike, who has been searching for him. Frankie returns home, welcomed by his blind guardian, Bob. Chester, now free from the factory, finds a new place to belong. Ozzy returns home to a joyous reunion with Paula, Susan, and Ted. Although initially hesitant, Ted and Susan eventually accept Chester into their family. Mr. Robbins faces justice for his cruelty, and the factory is shut down. In a heartwarming conclusion, the neighborhood pets, led by Ozzy, stand up to their bullies with newfound courage. Having faced and overcome tremendous challenges, Ozzy's adventures teach us the value of loyalty, bravery, and the unbreakable bond between pets and their families. This has been a recap of the Ozzy movie. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more exciting stories from Flashback Flicks. See you next time.